Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to Wuthering Waves. We're going to be talking about things to avoid when you start this game out. Like any gacha game we play down the line, there's total things that can just ruin your account, and then there's things that can really benefit if you just play in the proper way. But in the end of the day, honestly, when it comes to these gacha games, Genshin, Honkai, any other game you play, just play. Have fun. Trust me, there's going to be a meta, there's going to be characters that are really good, characters that are mediocre, but in the end of the day, if you like that playstyle of a character, use it. Who cares about what other people say, content creators, posts, graphs, damage calculations? In the end, when you play a character and it's fun to play, who cares how long it takes to kill the boss? The reason you're playing is to play. As long as you have enough skill and you can dodge enemy attacks and not get killed instantly, you're fine. Have fun. Enjoy it. Get that favorite waifu and husbando. Go crazy. So that being said, let's jump in with characters first, especially when it comes to leveling up and a big mistake you guys can make. So once you figure out what your favorite waifu husbando is, playstyle, whatever makes you turn on the game every day and enjoy it, go and do this. Don't max out 3 characters, 4 characters because, oh, the end game requires this. You're not an end game yet. Don't worry about that. End game starts at like 45 plus. Then you start worrying about all these different things and all these different characters in the tower, right? Right now, you're early game. You have minimum resources. You are not going to make it if you spread those resources into multiple characters. A lot of people have proven this. Beta testers, content creators, everyone around really agrees that you just have to work on that 1 character to 2 characters in the beginning, and that way you can save all those resources for when you finally feel that character that you got is something you want to invest in. So even though you pulled a 5-star character, you're like, you know what, let's just invest in that. It might not be your playstyle. If it is something you really want and you wanted to make it your playstyle, then yes, go ahead, right? If you go in for the first banner, you're gonna pull and you're like, you know what, Gion is which one I want to work on, then yeah, you are safely to use resources on that character and go for it. But for the big mistake is that you don't want to spread yourself thin on trying to level up everyone evenly. You can get away with leveling up Rover because Rover is going to be a long-term character for story. They're going to be used in multiple things in endgame as well, and they're only going to get stronger as the story progresses because they unlock more elements and part of the game, right? In this game, they're actually really good. So you're safe to go ahead and use resources on Rover, and then your healer, support character, you don't have to put a lot into them. Just give them a little bit of love, not too much, especially if you're using Verena here, right? Or anyone that's a healing, put that 5-set echo healing set on there for that 15% increase to the party, and you're good to go. But actually leveling up skills, character level, all that, focus on 1 character and maybe a 2nd DPS. The game does give you free characters and you have a lot of good choices here. Again, pridewin.gg, great website to check out a lot of pros, cons, breakdown to give you that beginner idea of what you want to do, and then as you play the game, you'll figure out everything for yourself. These are just pros, cons, tips. In the end of the day, have fun with the game, right? So you're coming over here, you're going to level up Rover for sure, and then you know what? I like the way this character plays. I'm going to level them up sub, and you can get away with that. Yes, you need a healer in the beginning, but you don't have to work on your healer. They can just pop in, do their abilities that they need to support the team, and then pop out. Resource dumping on a character is the way to go. 2nd character, just a little bit, and that's it. Until you hit endgame content, then you start pouring all those resources and figuring what you need. Besides that, story, 80% of the content is going to be very easy to do, so just have fun with it and save all those very limited resources because this is the early part of the game. So the next big mistake you can do is leveling up your early game echoes. So echoes are going to be enemies that you kill. You're going to take their actual echo or their soul, and it's like playing Pokemon. You're capturing them all, right? Once you capture them, they're going to come with a rarity. That rarity is dependent on the color of the actual echo itself. So you can see there's green ones, there's blue ones, and purples, and then golds. Golds are 5 stars. These are 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars. The 2 stars and the 3-star echoes, do not level them up. This is the big mistake you're going to do early on, thinking, oh, I got a really cool one. It looks good. I'm going to throw my experience materials in there and start working on them. Don't. Anything that is 2-star, 3-star is not worth it. And I'm not talking about the cost. The cost is something totally different, and I'll talk about that in a second. Early game echoes should just be equipped for their set bonuses. An example here, your healer doesn't need to level up their echoes, they just need a 5-set bonus. The rejuvenating glow set 2 set is going to give you healing bonus increased by 10%, but a 5 set is going to give you an increase in damage by 15% for 30 seconds when you switch the healer out. So the healer's going to come in, cast their ability, and then they're going to switch out, giving the entire party a 50% buff into damage. So that's all you really want to do. When it comes to my main DPS that I'm going to be going for, because I really like how the character looks and their playstyle, they have a set bonus of the Void. Void set bonus 2 echoes will give you electro damage increased by 10%. 5 echoes of the same thing is going to give me more damage in electro, so elemental damage. And you guys can see here that every character, the way this game works, you walk around, you kill these enemies, the enemies can drop into an echo and you can use them as your equipment. There's a total cost of what you guys can equip. It starts out at 10 and eventually becomes 12. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 echoes per character. You have a team of 3. So if all 3 characters, 15 echoes, if you try leveling up those 2 stars, 3 stars, the low ones, or just randomly, you're gonna run out of resources so quick. So again, resource management, ignore this. You don't need this for story, early game content. You don't need this until way later, so don't worry about anything lower than 4 stars. 4 stars and especially 5 stars is where you start trying to unlock those substats and going for the RNG rolls, because you're going to be doing this from beginning till end game. End game farming is echoes, so don't go crazy now. Save those resources. So echoes, just equip what you need and you're good to go from there. Huge shout out to wutheringwaves.dg for this little breakdown here. I don't have my own footage yet, so I'm using what I can off these wikis until I can play the game tonight, live streaming it constantly until I feel like I'm tired and I need to do things properly in life, like touch grass. So for now, I'm giving you this just a little early access, talk about things that you should avoid, and it's resource dumping into things you don't need to that you're going to regret later on. So the next big mistake is banners. The beginning banner is going to give you a resource that's called Radiant Tide, and the Radiant Tide is going to be used to pull on that discounted one. After 40 pulls, you're going to get a guaranteed 5-star at random, and then after that, you're going to get another banner that you're going to use Lustrous Tide on, and after 80 pulls of doing that, it's your standard banner pretty much. You're going to get a guaranteed 5-star, and you're going to be able to select which one you want to play from a select group of 5 stars, right? So what the mistake here is that you're going to get a resource called Astrite. And if you're new to gacha games, this is the thing you're going to use for only limited banners. Don't use them on the beginner banner, because you can see here there is an option to use that Radiant Tide, Lustrous Tide, but there's also an option to use Astrite. Don't mistakenly click Astrite and use it on here. It's not worth it. The game's going to give you the resources slowly but surely to get these guaranteed 5 stars, and this becomes that normal banner that's always going to be there. Only use the currency that's used for that standard banner. Save Astrite for the event banners, the limited characters, right? This is very, very important because you're going to get very little of this once you finally do everything in the game, and you want to save these for those waifu husbandos that are limited and not in your standard pulls. When it comes to actually polling as well, go for the character you want to. Again, there's no me stopping you saying this one sucks, this one's good, but one thing to consider is that you don't need to pull for the weapons. Even though the weapon banner is guaranteed in 80 pulls, there's no 50-50, you just get the weapon you pull for, period, if you get it. So if you see a gold, you got the weapon. Congrats. But the game doesn't call for this, especially when it comes to DPS. DPS do get replaced pretty easily in this game, and again, that doesn't matter. Play with your favorite character, level them up, full invest into them, and they'll work. But you don't need to run yourself thin and go for the character and the banner weapon, because in this game, as of now, it's not super important to have that character's weapon. The 4-star weapons the game gives you, the 5-star selector chest later on, is going to be enough to pass a lot of that content early, mid, couple months down the line. So for now, let that stockpile, but make sure you're using Astrite only on the limited banners. Don't, I'm choking on this. Don't use it on these. And I've had people who played Honkai Star Rail and Genshin with me in my community that did it on purpose because they just wanted to use it on that banner, and that drew, do what you want. Actually, do what you want. I'm not going to say anything, but this is a huge tip to really progress your account properly. Don't waste this stuff on that banner. Now, another big thing is Afterglow Coral. This is another mistake, or not really, but I recommend that you guys go ahead and use this resource I believe it's right here. There's an item exchange shop, and you are able to get dupes of your favorite character. Having duplicates of your character lets you awaken them, ascend them, which unlocks more passives, abilities, things they couldn't do before. So if you want a character to last, you should be using that after coral to get duplicates of said character. Whatever character you really like playing, or you know that their next awakening is going to give them something good, use the coral on that. You could do it for more resources to draw in and everything, but I really recommend that you use the coral, the afterglow coral, on that specific thing, getting multiple copies of your favorite character. So this is more of a tip slash you should do this. Doesn't mean you have to. Again, in the end, you want to use Astra in the beginner banner, or you want to get more pulls or whatever else that you can get, then yeah, do what you want. But this is just one of those crunching down numbers, perfectly playing account to make sure you have the best possible outcome. Doesn't mean your account's broken if you did it the opposite way. So have fun with the game. So next topic is wave plates. Wave plates, you do not want to let this cap out. So wave plates, you're going to see eventually you're going to be able to get into this part where you're going to be at 240 out of 240. Never let this sit at cap. Every time passes, this refreshes. You will get more of this. Make sure you guys are logging in at least once to twice a day to make sure you use this, and you can use this on training zone, weapon, the field, world bosses, and weekly bosses. When it comes to weekly bosses, mistake number one is don't do them right away. Do them on the last day, because as you play the game, your union level goes up. You're going to ascend your world. When your world's a higher level, the better rewards the weekly boss will drop. So make sure you guys are waiting to do your weekly boss, because once you kill it that week, you can't do it again. So make sure you save that for the end of your progress, so you're at the strongest point and the highest world level. I do recommend that you guys do not use the crystal solvent or asteroid, especially asteroid. You don't need to do this as a free to play. Don't refresh it unless you're desperate for something, but in the end, don't even think about that unless you're a pay to play. You're going to get these as you play the game. They're going to seem like very convenient, level up fast. Don't rush your game. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? Everyone's going to hit that end game. The more resources you have at the end, the better you'll be once you hit that point. So save your crystal solvents for when you're a higher union level, you're further into the game. That way you're refreshing for better materials, better pickups. It's not really recommended to do this early on. Wait till you're 40, 45 plus and you're farming things properly, because this is going to give you 60 wave plates after you use it. Wave plates allow you to farm weekly bosses, world bosses, things you need. And my recommendation is that you guys, when you go there, I don't have a picture of it. Actually, yes, I do. Here you go. So you want to do Forgery Challenge or Boss Challenge. So Forgery Challenge is going to produce weapon materials, and Boss Challenge is going to give you Ascension material. Character experience material, simulated field, you're going to get that just by playing the game again, so don't worry about that part. These two are going to give you the best progression. You can't go wrong as long as you're spending your waypoints. You can't go wrong doing any of these, but the most efficient way is to do that weekly boss at the end of the week, and then the boss challenges and Forgery Challenge. Boss Challenge, look for your character that you're upgrading and go for the specific boss that gives you the materials you need for that character. You can check that out in their skill set, so make sure you guys are matching it up and not just kill any random boss. So these are mistakes slash things that are not really too much of a mistake, but they make a difference, right? You guys can see here more of a breakdown. So make sure you guys are just using wayplates. In the end of the day, use those wayplates right away. They refresh over time, so make sure you're constantly using them and not letting them overcap. And don't use asteroid on this. So that's pretty much it. I would say the biggest mistake you can make is listening to other people tell you how to play the game. Even though I made this and I call these mistakes, in the end of the day, you're playing the game because you're enjoying it. Sure, things will push you back on time-wise, but in the end, you're playing it because you're having fun. So who cares what anyone says? Oh, that character sucks. Don't do it this way. You should be playing the map like that. No, play the way you want to play in the end of the day. That's the biggest mistake, listening to other people. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell you later.